Hey, this is Marcus. The kitchen smells like toasted sesame oil and ginger, Serena's signature stir-fry bubbling on the stove. She hums something I don't recognize, her shoulders swaying in time with the melody. I lean against the counter, watching her. She's so at ease here, hair pulled into a messy bun, wearing my old Cornell sweatshirt. We've been living together for 2 years, and moments like this still feel comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. She glances over her shoulder. You're quiet. What's on your mind? Nothing, I say, forcing a smile. Smells great. She rolls her eyes but doesn't press. Serena knows me well enough to tell when I'm deflecting, but she also knows when to let it slide. It's one of the reasons we work, or have worked, anyway. We've had our share of storms, but we've always come out steady on the other side. Still, some things hang in the air between us unsaid. I grab plates from the cabinet, setting the table while she finishes cooking. The clatter of forks against porcelain echoes in the small space. We sit across from each other, the way we always do. She digs into her food, and I watch her for a beat before starting on mine. She's beautiful in this effortless way, smooth skin, dark eyes that hold an edge of mystery, and a quiet confidence that drew me in from the start. For 3 years, she's been my partner, my confidant, my best friend. But not my future. Serena has made it clear where she stands. No marriage, no kids. Not now, not ever. I like our life as it is, she told me once. Why fix what isn't broken? And for a while, I believed her. I thought I could make peace with the idea, bury my own dreams for the sake of hers. But lately, the cracks have been harder to ignore. We share so much: weekend hikes, late-night movie marathons, a shared love of old vinyl records. But I want more. A family. A house filled with laughter and chaos. She doesn't. It's not her fault, and it's not mine either. We've tried to meet in the middle, but some gaps are too wide to bridge. You're distracted tonight, she says, breaking the silence. Work stuff? Yeah, a little, I lie. She doesn't press again, and I hate how easy it's become for me to dodge the truth. After dinner, we settle on the couch with a bottle of wine. She curls into my side, her head resting on my chest. This should be enough. For most people, it would be. But as she scrolls through her phone, laughing softly at something I can't see, I feel the weight of everything we're not. My phone buzzes on the coffee table, and I reach for it instinctively. Unknown number. Again. It's been happening for months, calls and texts that I've ignored out of habit. I silence it and set the phone down, but Serena notices. Same number? She asks. Yeah. Probably a scam. Maybe you should answer next time. Could be important. Doubt it, I say, though her words linger. Later, when she's asleep beside me, I stare at the ceiling. The hum of the city outside filters through the cracks in the windowpane. My phone sits on the nightstand, screen dark. I think about the life Serena and I have built together, and the life we'll never have. When I finally drift off, the phone buzzes again, pulling me halfway out of sleep. This time, there's a text. Hi, Marcus. It's Rachel. I hope this isn't too sudden, but I need to talk to you. Please read the letter I've sent through my sister. I think it's time. My breath catches, and I sit up, heart pounding. Rachel. Her name pulls me straight into the past, the laughter, the dreams we built together, the promises we made. I haven't seen her in over a decade, but her name alone stirs something buried deep. Something I thought I'd let go of. I glance over at Serena, her face serene in the soft glow of the bedside lamp. She's everything I've known for the last 3 years, but suddenly, it feels like the ground beneath me has shifted. I swipe to unlock my phone and stare at the text, rereading it until the words blur. A part of me wants to ignore it, pretend it never came. But another part, a stronger part, knows I can't. The text from Rachel lingers in my mind like a thread tugging at a loose seam. By morning, I've convinced myself not to think about it. I tell myself I'm overanalyzing. Maybe she sent it by mistake. Maybe it's nothing. But I can't shake the weight of her name, or the memories it drags up. Serena notices. You're in your head again, she says over coffee. Didn't sleep well, I reply. Not a total lie. She studies me for a second, her brow furrowing like she's deciding whether to push. She doesn't. Serena's good at giving space, but I catch the slight downturn of her lips. She feels the distance, too, even if either of us says it. When she leaves for work, I'm alone with my thoughts. And my phone. I stare at Rachel's message until the words burn into my brain. Read the letter. By midday, curiosity has won. I text her sister Elise. We haven't spoken in years, but her reply is quick. Hey Marcus. So good to hear from you. I'll drop the letter by tonight. Hope you're doing well. The rest of the day drags. Serena texts me once, something about dinner plans, but I keep it short. My head's too full of questions, possibilities, and memories I thought were long buried. When Elise shows up, the first thing I notice is how much older she looks. A few gray strands peek through her auburn hair, and the freckles that used to scatter her cheeks have faded. But her smile is the same, warm and knowing. Long time, Marcus, she says, handing me a sealed envelope. She wanted to write this herself. Said it needed to be personal. Thanks. I manage. How's she doing? Elise shrugs. Better now, I think. She's been through a lot, but I'll let her tell you about that. Take care of yourself, okay? I nod, but my throat feels tight. Elise's expression carries a weight I can't ignore. She knows more than she's saying. Back inside, the envelope feels heavy in my hands, though it's nothing but paper. I sit at the kitchen table, my pulse quickening as I tear it open. Dear Marcus. It feels strange writing this after so many years, but I didn't know how else to reach you. I hope you'll understand. I've thought about you more often than I probably should. Life moves on, right? But some connections never fade. You were my best friend before you were anything else. I still carry that with me. I wanted to reach out earlier, but timing never felt right. You were living your life, and I didn't want to disrupt that. But here we are, both 35. Do you remember the promise we made? About reconnecting if we were both still single by now? I'm not assuming anything. I know you've probably moved on. But I couldn't let this year pass without at least trying. If you're happy where you are, I'll respect that. But if there's even a small part of you that wonders what could have been, I'd like to find out together. I've thought a lot about what I want: a marriage, a family, a partner who shares those dreams. And you're the only person I've ever truly pictured in that life. I know this is a lot to take in, and I don't expect an answer right away. But if you're open to it, I'd love to reconnect. I'm willing to relocate. I'm willing to start fresh if you are. Here's my number. Take your time. I'll be in town for a month. Whatever you decide, I'll always appreciate the memories we shared. Rachel. I set the letter down, my hands trembling. Her words hit me like a tidal wave: nostalgia, longing, and the unmistakable pull of what we used to have. I remember her laugh, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about her art, the afternoons spent lying in the grass, dreaming about a future we never got to build. But that was a lifetime ago. I've built something different now, with Serena. Stable, predictable, safe. Rachel's offer threatens to unravel all of it, and yet the thought of seeing her again sends a strange energy coursing through me. I read the letter again, slower this time. Her handwriting hasn't changed, slightly slanted, with looping GS and wide OS. It's intimate in a way that a text or call could never be. The front door opens, and Serena walks in, dropping her bag by the couch. She pauses when she sees me at the table, the letter in my hand. Everything okay? I nod, but my voice comes out strained. Elise dropped something off. From an old friend. Her eyes narrow slightly, but she doesn't pry. Dinner's in an hour. Want to help chop vegetables? Yeah, give me a minute. As she disappears into the kitchen, I fold the letter and slide it into my pocket. My heart's still racing. Rachel's words loop in my mind, louder than anything else. Do you remember the promise we made? The air is thin at this altitude, crisp and biting as it fills my lungs. We've been hiking for almost an hour, the trail winding through pine trees and jagged rocks, but I barely noticed the scenery. My mind churns like the river below us, carving its way through stones the way Rachel's letter has carved into me. Serena's voice breaks the silence. You've been quiet all morning. What's up? I pause, resting my hands on my knees. The incline has been punishing, but it's not my legs that ache. We need to talk. Her face hardens slightly, defensive, maybe. Okay. There's a small clearing just ahead, a flat patch of earth with a view that stretches for miles. I gesture toward it, and we sit on a fallen log. Serena takes a sip from her water bottle, waiting for me to start. I study her for a moment. Her dark hair's pulled back in a messy ponytail, stray strands clinging to her damp forehead. She's beautiful in a way that's always felt effortless, but today there's a weight between us I can't ignore. I got a letter, I say finally. From Rachel. Serena's brows knit together, and she tilts her head. Rachel, your high school girlfriend? I nod, pulling the letter from my pocket. I don't hand it to her, but I hold it up, like proof of something I can't quite articulate. She reached out. She's in town. She wants to reconnect. Serena's quiet for a moment. Her lips press into a thin line, and she looks out at the horizon. Reconnect how? I hesitate, the words tangling in my throat. She brought up the pact we made. About meeting again at 35 if we were both single. She exhales sharply, almost a laugh but not quite. Well, you're not single, so that's that. Her tone is light, but I can see the tension in her jaw. I press on, my voice quieter now. She said she'd relocate. She wants marriage. A family. The words hang between us, heavy and unspoken for too long. Serena doesn't say anything right away. She picks up a small rock, turns it over in her hand, and finally tosses it into the brush. You've always wanted those things, she says. Her voice is calm, but there's an edge to it, like the blade of a knife hidden under soft fabric. I nod. I've tried to be okay without them. For you. She looks at me, her brown eyes searching mine. And are you? I don't answer, because the truth is written all over my face. She sighs, leaning forward to rest her elbows on her knees. Marcus, I love what we have. I love us. But I've been honest from the start. I don't want kids, and I don't want to get married. If that's a deal breaker for you, it's better we face it now than keep pretending we're both okay. Her words are a punch to the gut, not because they're cruel but because they're true. I think about the nights we've spent laughing over board games, the mornings we've shared coffee on the balcony, the way she's always known how to calm me when life feels overwhelming. Losing her feels unthinkable. But so does staying, knowing we'll never want the same things. What if we tried? I ask, though my voice lacks conviction. She shakes her head, a sad smile tugging at her lips. You'd be miserable. And so would I. You'd resent me for not giving you the life you want, and I'd resent you for trying to change me. The silence between us stretches, filled only by the sound of wind rustling through the trees. Finally, she speaks again, her voice softer now. Maybe it's time we stop fighting what we already know. It's Serena who stands first, brushing dirt off her hands. Come on. Let's finish the hike. We can talk more later. But I don't want to wait. I care about you, I say, rising to meet her. You're my best friend. Her smile wavers. And you're mine. That's why I think we'll be okay. Even if we're not this anymore. The hike down feels different, quieter, heavier. We don't speak much, but it's not the awkward kind of silence. It's the kind where both people are piecing together what comes next. That evening I text Rachel. Hey. Got your letter. I'd like to meet. Her reply is almost instant. Tomorrow at noon? Coffee at Tully's? I don't overthink it. See you there. Serena sits across from me at the dinner table, picking at her salad. You texted her, didn't you? Yeah. She nods, her expression unreadable. Good. You deserve to figure this out. I don't sleep much that night, staring at the ceiling and replaying everything Serena said. By morning, the weight is still there, but it's lighter somehow. At noon, I walk into Tully's and spot Rachel immediately. 10 years melt away in an instant, her warm smile, the familiar curve of her cheekbones, the way she waves when she sees me. "Marcus," she says, standing to hug me. "Rachel," I reply, my voice steadier than I expected. As we sit down, the conversation flows easily, like picking up an old book and finding your favorite chapter. The past, the present, the unspoken dreams, we dive into it all. And for the first time in years, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. The weekends become our bridge. Every Friday, I pack a small bag and drive the 2 hours to Rachel's city. By Sunday evening, I'm back home, my head filled with the scent of her lavender shampoo and the sound of her laugh. It's strange how easy it feels, like falling into step with a song I forgot I loved. Rachel has this way of making the ordinary extraordinary. Dinner isn't just a meal, it's an event with candles, wine, and conversation that stretches for hours. Even running errands together feels different, lighter. But it's not perfect. Nothing ever is. One Saturday morning, as we're heading to the farmer's market, she turns to me, biting her lip in a way that signals she's been holding something in. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." She grips the steering wheel tighter. "What happened with Serena? I mean, really happened. I know you said you two wanted different things, but was it because of me?" The question lands like a stone in my chest. I take a moment, watching the city blur past the window. "It wasn't because of you. It was because I finally admitted to myself that I wasn't happy. I wanted a future Serena couldn't give me. You coming back just sped things up." Her shoulders relax, but her eyes stay fixed on the road. "I don't want to be the reason someone else got hurt." "You're not," I say, my voice firmer this time. "Serena and I ended things because it was the right thing to do. For both of us." Rachel nods, but the conversation lingers like a cloud over the rest of the day. It's a reminder that even when things feel seamless, there are edges that need smoothing. By the fourth weekend, I've memorized the route to her apartment, where to exit, which gas stations have the best coffee. Her building is charming in an old-fashioned way, with ivy crawling up brick walls and a small courtyard that smells like roses. "Move in with me," she says one evening, catching me off guard. I pause mid-sip of my drink. "What?" She shrugs, but there's a flicker of nervousness in her eyes. "You're here every weekend anyway. Why not make it permanent?" I set my glass down, leaning forward. "What about your work?" "My job? My life 2 hours away." "I've already thought about it," she says quickly. "There's an opening at the hospital here for someone with your skills." I checked. Her enthusiasm is infectious, but I hesitate. It's not about the logistics. It's about the leap, what it means to leave everything behind for something that feels so fragile, so new. "Let me think about it," I say, and she nods, her face carefully neutral. The next few weeks are a blur of late-night phone calls and text messages. We plan, we dream, we argue. It's not easy, but it's worth it. When I finally accept the job offer and give notice at my current position, Rachel greets me with a smile so wide it erases any lingering doubt. "I can't believe this is happening," she says as we sit on the floor of her apartment, eating takeout surrounded by half-unpacked boxes. "Believe it," I reply, pulling her closer. We settle into a rhythm quickly, shared mornings with coffee and crossword puzzles, lazy Sundays exploring the city, quiet evenings with books and jazz playing softly in the background. It feels right, like this is what I've been waiting for all along. One night, a few months in, I surprise her with a picnic in the park. The blanket is spread out under a canopy of stars, and she's laughing at some joke I made, her head tilted back, her hair glowing in the moonlight. "I've been meaning to give you something," I say, reaching into my pocket. Her laughter stops, replaced by wide eyes as I pull out a small box. "Marcus, it's not what you think," I say quickly, opening the box to reveal a necklace. The pendant is a small, glowing stone, one of the luminescent minerals we collected as kids. She touches it gently, her fingers brushing mine. You kept these? Of course, I say. They reminded me of you. Of us. She leans in to kiss me, and in that moment, everything feels exactly as it should. The next few months fly by. We navigate the ups and downs of living together, her habit of leaving dishes in the sink, my tendency to hog the blankets. But the arguments are small, the kind that end with laughter and apologies. On our first anniversary of being back in each other's lives, we take a trip to the mountains. It's the same trail where I had that final conversation with Serena, but this time, the weight in my chest is gone. Rachel walks ahead of me, her laughter carried by the wind. I watch her, feeling something I can't quite put into words. Hey! I call out, and she turns, her smile brighter than the sun breaking through the clouds. What? I don't answer right away. Instead, I close the distance between us and take her hand. Nothing, I say, pulling her into a kiss. Because sometimes, words aren't enough. And in that moment, I don't need them.